Yeah, that bit always gets me. That's nice.
Oh, you're talking over the intro. Cheers, man. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the New Zealand Sportcasting Couch podcast. Today, once again, we're trying to spice things up, doing some different sort of episodes. And today, I just wanted to put forward a question to Willie in London. But we'll just talk firstly. Did you see Ardie Savea's performance on the weekend for Moana Pacifica against the Blues in the Auckland Derby?
Yeah, I can't say I watched it live, but I watched some extended highlights and some reaction to it. So I'm well versed in what kind of went on in that
Yeah,
game. And yeah, by the sounds of it, it was one of the greatest performances from a from a player. Not even just a Moana Pacifica,
yeah,
in the '09 derby. Yeah.
yeah. So, what we're doing today is a controversial one with the South Island viewers. So we're going to put forward, well, I'm going to put forward the question whether Willie in London wants
hmm
to agree with me is another discussion.
Mm.
About whether Ardie Savea is better than Richie McCaw. And again, you say that, and you get a lot of
Ooh.
angry reacts. It's a rage
Yeah, you
bait.
might. Yeah, you might need
Yeah,
to say that again,
yeah, yeah.
just to.
So today's episode is titled "Is Ardie Savea better than Richie McCaw?" So you just want to leave
Oh,
that out there for the people.
fuck! I'll just pick my jaw up off the ground. Ah.
Yeah, so again, it's one of those ones where you say it and it sounds ridiculous because a lot of people obviously don't think Richie could ever be surpassed. But I was watching
Mm.
that game on. The reason I started to think about it is I was watching that game on Saturday night after a big day, a big Saturday, just winding down watching some Super Rug, and as it was going on live, as you're watching it, um, I just kept asking myself, has there ever been someone as good as this guy? It was that much of a significant performance.
Mm.
I've certainly never seen an individual performance better. Everyone's saying it's the best performance in Super Rugby history. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think it might be the best individual performance I've seen in any rugby game. But again, context matters. It's not a Rugby World Cup or even an international,
Yeah.
so I appreciate that. But I've never seen a performance quite like it, and it just made me think and actually try and be open minded. I'm quite an open minded individual, and
Mm.
it just made me want to think about that. So, um, any thoughts on that comparison, or do you want me to just get into breaking it down?
No, 100%. I think it's important to leave the bias at the door there.
Yeah,
So I'll use me as a vehicle here, as a vessel, and I'll try and be as unbiased as I can.
yeah,
Even though looking through somewhat of a Kane's lens for most of my life, so that could come
yeah,
into. So yeah, if we get roasted for that, we get roasted for that. But
yeah. I,
I will try my best.
I, I don't want to talk rubbish about Ardie Savea, but I don't know if this is any bias from me. Personally, I'm quite off him for leaving. And there's other things potentially that I don't like about how he operates, which I won't get into, as we've got a few fans of the show that
Mm,
obviously are relatives of his and big fans of his, and maybe even from the
mm,
same area code, the 44. So
yeah.
I don't want to kind of upset them, but anyway, when I was watching this, I tried to you actually have to break it down, and I was talking to a friend of the show, CR from Dunedin, and about it in terms of actually breaking it down. So I guess with
Okay.
McCaw's got that
Yeah.
aura about him.
hmm
You play aura farmed most of his career, and I guess um, people think he's the goat because he won everywhere he went. He had about 8 to 10 Super Rugby titles, won two back-to-back World
hmm
Cups. He was captain,
Yeah.
durable. So everyone looks at him as the goat, but I just think they're the same position, but if you actually want to break it down, I think there's a genuine argument Ardie's better. So I'll just get to that, and I'm going to put these questions to you, Willie in
hmm
London. Okay, so
Yep.
Ardie versus McCaw. First stat, tackling. Who do you give that one to? And you can also go draw if you can't tell. That's fine.
Yeah. I'll probably say draw. Yeah, both good at tackling. I couldn't pinpoint it from this point in time. Have you got some stats that will play me
Um,
one way or another, or?
no, not. I don't have any stats in this case. I'm more just talking about like what we remember about them as players, I guess,
Yeah.
in terms of like
Okay. No.
um
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm
No, I would
this
say
time
that's a draw.
yeah. So I'm actually going to
Yeah.
go McCaw in this one. I think McCaw was a bit more of
Yeah.
like an enforcer of a tackler. Like he would,
Hmm.
get under the into the rib cage, just under the ball, and put some really nice shots in. So I've gone
Okay.
McCaw for tackling.
No, I
Ardie
like that.
doesn't
I'm
like tackle.
biased. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Thank you,
I
man.
get.
Yeah,
I get what
Ardie
you
doesn't
mean.
just
I was thinking more like missing
percentages.
tackles,
Yeah,
but then yeah, obviously like more dominant tackles.
yeah,
Yeah. Not that Artie isn't dominant in
yeah,
his, but yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah.
yeah,
No, I'm happy. I'm happy with that.
yeah.
With your breakdown there.
Yeah, so I just think, yeah, again, you could look at the numbers, but it's so hard to find any that have full credibility across the whole career.
Yeah.
So just going
Hmm.
tackling in general, I'll give McCall the edge there. Happy to give the draw,
Yeah. Yeah.
the edge there.
What's his stats on Rugby 08 actually? That might be the tipping point. If
Oh,
we can
for
go back to
tackling,
that. Yeah, yeah.
because yeah, Ardie isn't obviously not on that. We'd have to check
No,
the
no,
rugby
but
challenge, but
yeah, but McCaw's one, so that I can kind of
97,
like
97 tackling, I
okay.
think, for Rich.
Yeah,
Yeah, on
okay.
rugby,
Well,
right?
fuck, okay. Yeah, no, we'll give him the nod there then, because that's where I go for my breakdown, my analysis.
Yeah,
So
that's
yeah.
good. That's sweet. The next stat is ability at the breakdown.
Is that like a Cameron Smith ability to manipulate the ref at the breakdown, or is that just ability to because that's the one thing I'll say about
Yeah,
McCaw was his he could be doing everything wrong, but he still wins you the pen. Like he could be
yeah,
doing illegal things, but he's got the ref in his pocket, quite
yeah,
like Cam Smith like. But in terms of I think that one has to go to Artie. Like without trying to sound biased, but the prick just gets turnovers everywhere on the field. If there's ever a team in your 22 final, I think that's where my mind goes. A team's
yeah.
camped in your 22 in the final minutes. Which one of the two would get you a break? Like when you turn over the breakdown, and that would be Artie for
Yeah.
me.
Mm. Yeah. So I mean, in general, like anything like over the ball, disrupting it, like it doesn't really matter what you want to go for. Just so yeah.
Yeah,
So you're going Artie.
yeah.
Yeah. So this one again controversial because people remember Richie for a lot of what he did over the ball. But I'm gonna go a draw overall here. So I've gone the draw here.
Hmm.
I think over the ball, I do give Artie the edge. And again, South Islanders, you Southern men, you Cantabs, they're not going to appreciate that. But I just think there's a few things. So one thing that Cam from Dunedin highlighted, he said that how the rules have changed actually, and the rule
Okay,
change
yeah.
I
No,
think
that's fair.
actually gives Artie the edge because back in the day, um, you could go on the ball whenever, like you didn't have to be the
Mm.
first arriving player, but now you have to be the first arriving player.
Yeah, yeah,
So I think the fact that Artie still is getting, the same amount more turnovers than Richie is
yeah, yeah.
that gives Artie the edge. He has to be the first there. He has to be quick as shit.
Mm.
Richie could arrive late. There was no gate sort of thing, like
Yeah,
arriving.
yeah.
He could go through the side a bit more and
Go.
stuff like that.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Yeah,
which
yeah,
McCall definitely was very good at. So,
yeah.
different eras, but I just think Artie's his quickness and his IQ around it is
Mm.
crazy. But I think
Yeah,
McCaw probably had the edge in terms of really roughing up a breakdown, making it real
yeah,
messy, going a
yeah,
bit
yeah.
illegally. So
Yeah, but
I've
it's a bit
gone,
of disruption. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So I've gone draw.
Okay.
I've gone
No,
draw for the
I'm
breakdown.
liking it. Yep.
But I think people that just go, oh, McCaw, I just think actually will look at it. Like, I think
Mm.
it's very hard to make an argument that anyone ever has been better than Ardie at a breakdown, especially when you
Yeah,
watch a game like Saturday.
yeah.
Um, all right, and then the carry and running game. Can you give me an answer there, please?
Well, I think that's our first landslide victory. That's
Yeah,
definitely go to the Brown Beaker, as they call him on ACC.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
No,
definitely Artie, isn't it? I think
yeah.
that's not even close.
No,
The
it's not.
power
And
game,
again,
the league
yeah.
drive, post contact meters, line breaks, just the speed. Fuck, he has it all in the
Yeah.
carry.
Yeah, and this is where I'm starting to get to, where if you really do break it down, I think there starts to be an argument. Like I'm not gonna again, the purpose of this podcast, I'm not trying to rage bait. I'm not aura farming.
Mm.
I'm not
Oh
gonna.
no, but I am. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
oh,
all
you are.
yeah, clickbait. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but I'm not trying to like. I would never rip into someone that thinks McCaw's better than Artie. But I think if
No,
we went to people and said Artie's better than McCaw, we would get ripped into. What I'm
yeah,
trying to do with this episode is I'm trying to highlight there's an argument.
yeah.
It's an
You're trying to
argument.
bridge the gap, bridge the divide.
There's an
Yeah,
argument, and
yeah, yeah.
it's not crazy. It's a good argument. So the
Yeah.
carry of the running game clear is Ardie. It's clearly Ardie, and I
Hmm.
think a lot of that he grew up playing in the back, so he's obviously pretty
Yeah.
agile and
Yeah.
mobile and
He's an athlete, but a sevens as well.
freak athlete.
He's a
Even keeping his
mover.
shield,
Yeah.
something you know about. He used to get
Yeah.
100-meter sprints
Yeah.
and things like that. So
Hmm.
he's a good definitely running game goes to Ardie. So that currently
Yeah.
is 1-1 for
To be
me. I think
fair,
you
he actually has an unfair bonus though because when he runs, he goes east, east, east. So
sure.
anyone
Yeah,
knows who
that's
that gives you it's like nos
yeah.
on your
On Need for Speed.
on Need for Speed.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, Rich McCaw didn't unlock
yeah.
with his more battler
He
kind
could
of
have. He could have
grinder.
tried
Yeah, he
it,
could have. Yeah, he just
even with
needed.
his
Yeah,
pigment. But yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. Um,
yeah.
so for
And I think
me,
that's
that
just important to address. Yeah, no, that's all.
oh definitely. So
Yeah,
for me,
yeah,
that's 1-1. For you, I can't
yeah.
remember. You might be 2-1 Artie, I think. I can't
No,
remember.
I'm liking your. I'm following you. I'm following
We'll
you
go
there.
1-1. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. This one not massive, but I've chucked it in there anyway because they're both in the forward pack. Line out.
Uh yeah. I wouldn't be able to. I remember the Canes used to use Ardie as a line out option quite often, didn't they? I don't
Mine
know
do.
how
So
often. Yeah, I don't know how often old Richard was getting lobbed up there.
yeah,
Yeah, can't comment. Probably a draw.
yeah. I'm see here. Artie gets used quite a bit, and especially as he often goes in as a fake hooker. At the back of them all.
Hmm.
Um, so I've kind of gone Artie offering a little bit more at a line out, but again, it's not a massive stat, so I'm happy to go draw either way. But if I was going to go
Yeah.
one way, I'd go Artie there.
Hmm.
Um, Durability. Obviously, the best ability is availability.
Yeah.
Durability.
That is a good call. Um, yes, I'm trying to think of. I think that's probably a draw, isn't it?
100%.
There's obviously more games nowadays.
Yeah,
From when McCaw was with the expansion of the Super Rugby. So, but yeah, no, definitely both. McCaw
yeah,
was always in good
yeah,
nick, so he would be able to replicate the same if he was in the
yeah,
same. Yeah,
yeah. So that's where I was hoping you'd go there because I've gone draw there. They both barely had a significant. Neither of them had a
yeah.
significant injury really. They'll miss the odd game, but
Didn't
they both.
Artie have a? Did he have an ACL? Did Artie have an ACL?
Nah, I don't think so.
No.
Oh, maybe when younger, but
Yeah, I feel like he. Yeah, but no,
I don't know
they're
if it was
both.
ACL. He had a little bit of an
Oh no,
extended
he had
carry.
a knee injury or
Yeah,
something though.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
But I still think like you get to the end of both of their careers, they'll play much the same sort of amount of
yeah,
games, big
yeah,
games too. So yeah, gone the draw there. And then versatility,
yeah. Yeah, obviously Artie and that because they kind of shuffle him around anywhere in the back row. Um,
mm,
does the job anywhere. Obviously
mm,
more of a seven as he showed on the weekend, but can play
yeah,
eight
yeah,
to fit in,
and
even
six. He's played
six
six.
if needed. Yeah, stretch. So yeah, I'll go with him there.
Yeah. So again, this isn't necessarily like it doesn't
Not
really
that
matter
that's
too
massive,
much.
but it helps.
No,
Yeah, yeah,
it
yeah,
does
yeah.
though. And McCaw, obviously, you weren't going to move from seven, so it's hard to comment. But I
No,
think yes, Artie plays six, seven, eight. He's played games starting at the All Blacks, well, multiple games at six, seven, and eight. And then this is the other thing. Again, doesn't matter, but you could chuck him out into the back line. It'd be sweet as. So
yeah, you could. Yeah,
if he has to go out the wing, he has in a Super Rugby game, I think, and an NPC game.
yeah,
So if you
yeah.
want to look at that, and then the rest of it is hard to kind of compare. I think it's mainly just things that obviously go to Artie, like pace, agility,
Hmm.
quickness, like general and that sort of thing. I think in terms of like leadership, I think they're both on par. Like the big argument
Yeah,
for McCaw, and I find this a real tricky one, so we can talk about this. The big argument for McCaw is the fact that he won about 8 Super Rugby titles and 2 World Cups, and Artie hasn't had that
yeah.
record. But I have problems with this argument, but I'll talk about that soon if you want to comment on it.
Yeah, I think that is quite a hard one to dive into only because that Crusaders system is so good. Even
Yeah.
though I think over a lot of Artie's career, he definitely has had a much more talented team. The system sometimes like isn't always built to win, but
Mm,
that Crusaders system always like well,
yeah.
you've got another GOAT on your team,
yeah,
Dan Carter, who's
yeah,
running your ship. Um,
yeah,
and then you just got role players sprinkled in around with a few more like
mm,
game breakers. Like that team is built to win. Whereas, like we had in our rugby 08 argument, like who has the best all-time team? The Canes, but the
but it wasn't at
Crusaders.
the same time though.
But
For
yeah, no,
most,
no, but wasn't at the same
yeah,
time. Always
yeah,
had a lot more talent sprinkled through. But
yeah,
for a championship, you go with the Crusaders. But the only
yeah,
thing I say about Ardie is that with his move to Moana Pacifica and what he's taken them from a
yeah,
team that is getting absolutely humped 60-0 every single game
yeah,
into the season that they've had,
yeah,
and he's been by far and away the best player in the comp. I think that probably closes the gap in that
yeah.
kind of argument.
Yeah, no, 100%. And again, so I find this argument a pretty difficult one. I've never been a big fan of this argument across a lot of sports because I guess the reliance on your team, like team sports, you know.
Mm,
My argument for this is if Ardie was born in Christchurch, if he was from
mhm.
Christchurch, he would have been a Crusader with Moanga and all that in
Yeah,
that era and Whitelock and that. He would have won about 8 to 10 Super Rugby titles as well. He's not going to be worse
yeah,
from being from Christchurch. He'd still be the same player. So
yeah,
all of a sudden, if he was a Crusader instead of a Hurricane, Ardie would have won the same amount of titles, if not more, than Richie. And then
mm,
again, the All Black argument, Richie is that's the greatest All Blacks team, like that generation, the 2011 to 2015
yeah,
generation. Everyone agrees
yeah,
on
yeah,
that. Like it's the Conrad Smith Ma'a era, it's the Tony
yeah,
Woodcock, it's the Dan
yeah,
Carter,
yeah, yeah,
Aaron Smith in the prime. Like
yeah,
that's the era. So I think
yeah, no,
I
100%.
find that there's 14 other people on the pitch in rugby. I can kind of appreciate that argument in a sport maybe like basketball when there's only five. But I think
Yeah,
it's a pretty bloody difficult one when there's 14 others and then your bench. Like I think
yeah,
it counts for a
but
little, but that's a
but
tough
then
one.
I do get at the same time everyone knows that he's that guy though. Like that whole time he was
Mm.
always that guy. Like
Yeah,
there's one thing I'll say about McCaw. Like
yeah, definitely.
everyone on that All Blacks team definitely like even though better players, bit
Yeah,
like everyone knew that he was that guy and everyone would follow him everywhere. So I guess that does like count for someone and like everyone would die to play with him. I guess that kind of builds
yeah,
that kind
definitely.
of
Yeah,
culture around him.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean that's
yeah.
it's
Nah, for
splitting
sure.
hairs, aren't you? Because it's like
Yeah. Mm. So yeah, I mean, this is what the purpose of it was. I'm not trying to say that Artie's definitely better than McCaw, but it's just that I think it is now a conversation that like it should exist. That's similar to like
mm,
a I don't know, your Martin Crowe versus your Kane Williamsons or your
mm,
Ross Taylor, you know, like whoever it is, if you're Michael Jordan, LeBron James, like I think there's an argument. It's not like we just shut the door on it. So, and if you look at the
yeah,
stats that we went through, the tackling breakdown, carry game, running game, line out, versatility, durability, I think we ended up with an
mm.
RD2-1, and that's where
Yeah.
we actually
You've
started.
missed a couple of stats out there.
What else?
You missed kicking game out.
Oh yeah,
He's turned into bloody just an
yeah,
absolute rampaging chip and chaser, and like he just
yeah, yeah.
gets every single chip and chase.
I know, and
He had like a in his 22 like
the
to their
clearance,
10-meter line clearance. Like
yeah,
he's got a
yeah,
boot on him now.
yeah. I know, and the dummy, Richie didn't have a dummy like
Yeah,
that.
oh,
Yeah,
yeah, the disgraceful dummy where you look like you're gonna
yeah,
spiral it into row 10, but you actually just hold on to it and no
yeah,
one falls for it.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah,
So
no,
no,
he's got that flair. He's got the flair trait for sure.
yeah, yeah. So no, yeah. I just want people to let us know. Like, don't get angry. Like, I just at least watch the episode first before commenting. And then
Mm,
hopefully they'll be able to see where we're kind of coming from. But I just think, yeah,
mm.
what a
As
performance. If
a
he did,
just one more stat, as a
yeah,
religious guy yourself, what are
yeah.
your thoughts on who you're giving post-match interviews to for the first 10 seconds of a post-match interview? Are you giving it to Richie or Artie?
Oh, I guess like it's a tough one because as a farmer, I like Richie's energy, but I think the main thing is to definitely give it to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like he was
Yeah,
the one that had that barnstorming game. It was actually JC,
yeah, yeah.
not not Artie.
Yeah, so I think definitely I like Artie post match, definitely. For the
Yeah,
Jesus Christ,
that's your brand. Yeah, yeah,
my brand, and also he also gets the energy from his ancestors. I like that too. So yeah, I'll definitely post match goes to him, no question.
yeah, yeah.
Richie would be more of a what would he say?
Yeah, nah. He used to go, yeah, nah, quite a lot.
Yeah, yeah, something about the boys, and then yeah, just something generic. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Cheers to
yeah,
the ladies in the kitchen, like that kind
yeah,
of like
yeah, yeah,
thanks for the
yeah.
fee
Thanks for
kind
the
of
bar
ones. Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah,
classic.
yeah.
Yeah, oh, that's good
Absolutely.
stuff. You used to be one of those. You're more of a bar staff reference. Yeah, cheers. Anything else, or should we wrap it up there? It's a good episode, though.
Yeah. No. Any final thoughts? No,
No.
I just think I would definitely give it to I would probably say Ardie is definitely better if he went to the Warriors and had the same impact as he did with Moana Pasifika
Uh,
and got the
yeah,
Warriors to a championship. Then he'd be
yeah,
on my
yeah.
pedestal.
Nah,
Sorry to all
Artie's
you
gone for
Cantabs
me.
out there.
Yeah, no, he's gone for me. And I mean,
Yeah,
if he gets, he'll get the next World Cup, Artie, in Aussie, and he'll get
yeah,
Moana Pacifica regular semi-finalists, and he's going to ruin the Blues franchise because now all those Auckland-based Pacific Islanders are going to be Moana Pacificas, and
yeah,
it's going to be a bit of a Jason Taumalolo effect, and then he'll retire, and he'll probably got another 8 years in him. He'll play till he's old as, I reckon,
yeah,
and then it won't even be a conversation.
yeah.
Thanks, man.
That's all she wrote.
Yeah, sweet. All right, New Zealand, well, let us know below, and yeah, we'll see you on the next one.